Ice Crown. A monument to our suffering.
Here are the top 10 free MMORPGs that you should play. Welcome back to Gaming Pushpins, the gaming channel with all the deets on the best games to play, where to find them, and how to play them. Today's video, we're going to freely show you our top 10 MMORPGs you must play in 2020. This list is drawn based on our preference, but hey, it is what it is. Let's get to it. And number 10 is Defiance 2050.
Listen up, people! We just passed the Golden Gate! Get yourself strapped in for a landing! Repeat! 10 minutes until lockdown, people!
Defiance 2050 is set on a terraformed Earth several years into the future, and it's a science fiction-themed, persistent world online third-person shooter game. This game includes 4 main characters who are from 4 different origins. These characters are veterans, a group of soldiers who survived the Pale Wars, the outlaws and criminals who raid and destroy fortunes, the machinists who are scavengers, and lastly, the survivalists who are humans or aliens who attempt to survive in the newly formed world. With great ideas like the third-person shooting and dynamic boss encounters that would eventually find home in Destiny, credit must be given to Tryon Worlds for its commitment to the Defiance universe. The original game started as a premium title and is balancing and adjusting it for 2050. Character transfers didn't make the cut, sadly. But not to worry, when you lay your hands on Defiance 2050, you will be able to access certain aspects of your original game account. And number 9 is Rift. This is another amazing game from the stable of Tryon Worlds. This game, which was declared as one of the most stable and expansive MMOs when it was first launched, plays like an imitation of World of Warcraft. According to critics, the early game quests are boring, but if you manage to go deeper into the game, then you will find out how interesting playing Rift is. But this criticism has not stopped the game from being successful, following the announcement from Tryon that the game has garnered 1 million players. Rift has continued to record more successes following its launch, and the first progression server is called Rift Prime. One of the best features of the game is its flexible and immersive class system, allowing players to choose one of 2 opposing factions followed by one of 6 races. Another interesting fact about Rift is that players can take on 3 souls at the same time, which function like subclasses. Rift launched its free-to-play in the year 2013, but to also make money, a paid expansion called Starfall Prophecy was released in 2016. And number 8 is TERA.
In a war-ravaged nation, each election day is a triumph.
TERA has been declared one of the most dynamic and pleasing combat systems in the history of MMORPGs. Offering a diverse assortment of characters and classes from the giant-bred Amani to the portable Papori, the characters are a joy to look at. TERA has typical MMORPG features such as crafting, player versus player action, and questing. Another cool feature of this game is its use of real-time battle system that incorporates a third-person camera view. This game requires players to engage in a variety of fleet-footed maneuvers as they dodge and jab at opponents. TERA is currently available on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And number 7 is The Lord of the Rings Online.
As the Fellowship prepares for its perilous journey to Mount Doom, the shadow of Sauron stretches forth to reclaim it. In ages long past, the Witch King gathered a dark army in Angmar.
Just like the books and the movie, The Lord of the Rings Online contains a wealth of content. The places that you visit in the game are diverse and eclectic as they are in the various books. Want to know about the storyline of this game? All you can say is that it's still epic, even though critics have described it as a World of Warcraft ripoff. A lot of the gameplay in Lord of the Rings Online is similar to the MMORPG format, where players control a character avatar that can be moved around the game world and interact with both players and non-player characters. Also, characters gain their levels by earning points from defeating enemies and completing quests. Unlike other role-playing video games, the equivalent of health points in Lord of the Rings Online is morale, which can be gotten via food, rest, music, and battle cries. In an event where a character's morale reaches 0 in combat, the character is declared as defeated and not killed. Characters are also allowed to master up to 3 professions. Another fun thing in this game is that players can also customize the look of their characters by using the cosmetic system. And not only can players choose their character names, but they can also choose their titles. And number 6 is Neverwinter.
What is it that calls you to such a place? Duty? Knowledge?
A free-to-play online game developed by Cryptic Studios, Neverwinter is a standalone game and not part of the Neverwinter Night series. The game is based on the acclaimed Dungeons & Dragons fantasy role-playing game. If you are looking for a game with epic stories, action combat, and classic role-playing, then you need to get on the Neverwinter bandwagon. It's the perfect game for courageous heroes looking to have to go in the fantastic world of Neverwinter. The game, which is set in a time where the eponymous city is plunged into chaos after the disappearance of the last lord, is a fast-paced combat game. Neverwinter nails every concept of what an action MMO should look like. At number 5, Dungeons & Dragons Online.
You say you know how to fight evil? You've not seen what I have seen.
For a lot of online gamers, Dungeons & Dragons has always been the tabletop game they play secretly. D&D, like its popularity is called, is a game with extensive customization built within the framework. D&D features more classes than most MMORPGs. This game is normally played indoors, with the participants seated at a tabletop. Each player controls only a single character, which represents an individual in a fictional setting. Players can also work as a group, with each member having their specialty which contributes to the success of the whole gameplay. D&D makes it possible for players to direct their actions as well. The game isn't as eyesore compared to most games in the same class, and it is rather visually captivating. At number 4 is AION Online. When it comes to creating dope MMORPGs, NCSoft, the creators of AION Online, seem to head this department. AION revolves around battles within the Abyss and Balura. AION is a free-to-play MMORPG based on CryEngine and is set in a fascinating fantasy world. The game is tightly rooted in a post-cataclysm world that has been torn apart by 2 warring races. To begin the game, players need to select their classes, which are followed then by tossing into a world of fast-paced combat. The game is an enjoyable and beautiful title from the get-go, even if it does take you a while to earn your wings. Number 3 is DC Universe Online. If you are a comic fanatic, or should we say a DC fan, then DC Universe should top your list. The game is based on the fictional superheroes and villains in the DC Universe, and it features players creating characters from scratch or inspired by famous DC characters such as Superman and the likes. The game is set in a fictional universe with superheroes and supervillains, and was co-published by Daybreak, Game Company, and WB Games. One of the features of the DC Universe is the ability of players to create new and original characters that interact with the iconic heroes and villains of the DC Comics. Players are also at will to choose their character's faction, hero or villain, gender, male or female, body type, personality, movement mode, weapon, and powers. We guess this allows you to create your personality in a character. There is also the option of making use of the pre-built templates inspired by some of the DC characters to expedite the character creation process. Once your character is ready, you get thrown into the world of the DC Universe Online with the first experience of having to fight your way out of the Brainiac spaceship. And number 2 is Path of Exile.
They were right to fear me. Had they not taken my home of fire, I'd not have brought their fears to life.
You are hereby exiled.
This is one of the few free-to-play games that can confidently boast commercial success while satisfying the needs of the gaming community. Believe it when we say that this is not an easy achievement. One of the coolest features of this game is how limitless the character customization is. Players have plenty of missions to tackle solo or with friends. The game provides players with the chance to control a single player from an overhead perspective, can freely mingle in encampments as well as freely explore an isolated map. Sitting comfortably at our number 1 today is Star Trek Online. Star Trek Online has been around for over a decade and still going strong. The reason is simple. Cryptic Studio, developers of the game, have continued to update the game continually over the years. The game right now has over 160 episodes to play. The game is set in the 25th century, 30 years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, and is the first massively multiplayer online role-playing game with the Star Trek franchise. Just like the movie, the game keeps giving players the privileges to captain their ship. They can play as a starship, controlling the ship's engineering. If you are a fan of the Star Trek franchise and haven't given this game a try, it's okay to say you've been sleeping on a moving bite. This is all the free play gaming value we have for you today. If you think a game should have made our list, feel free to drop a comment below. But if you agree with us, let us know your favorite game below. For the new gamers here, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to give us a like. Until next time, keep gaming, Push.